Um, I was just thinking about what you said in terms of your own experience and where you went after your graduation and returned to Canada. And you're obviously very much involved in the international arena still. What impact did your study abroad have on your future job goals and opportunities?
Well, I mean, after graduating from the business program, like I mentioned, the only position that I was really interested in was the one that was abroad. It was in Beijing in China. And so that if I didn't go on that study abroad term, I wouldn't have wanted to go abroad and I wouldn't have been able to explore my cultural heritage. So there's a lot of things that there were decisions that were made in going abroad that allowed me to have, I guess, the experiences that I did have. And I feel like so much, it's so rich. It's such a rich experience that I can only say that with our children one day, I would love for them to be able to study abroad because I can see the benefit. And my wife herself, she studied in Korea and she studied in France as well. And
Oh,
so there was an instant connection there because we had very diverse backgrounds as well. And so we were able to really to connect because we were sharing our experiences abroad and the changes that go on with really I think anybody that has gone abroad and has come back, they see tremendous growth in themselves. uh, Oftentimes, like when you're in the destination country, you don't realize how much you grow, but then you come back and you realize, wow, I and the confidence that you get out of that is it's unparalleled. It's something that you really have to just do it to 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 experience it.
great. Yeah. I'm going to ask you to help me prove something because I'm always talking to students about this in terms of how study abroad, helps you get a job. I really believe that as an educator over the last 30 years. Think about the things that you put on your resume when you applied to the University of Victoria. What do you think? What were the things that you were offering on your resume that you think were specifically to do with your study abroad experience?
Well, because my resume is very international, like with the just the countries that I've lived in and worked in, I do try to highlight those, and especially if you're in a job in a global company, the fact that you understand the differences with the country maybe they're targeting, maybe that will help with pursuing that position. My main thing is the adaptability. I think the more that you're able to adapt to situations, and more employers are really looking for that ability to adapt, and not just from coming in from a university and then into employment, but being able to have that experience, that challenging experience, because you don't know until you actually go through it what you can actually accomplish. And so this, in terms of my resume, it was, well, looking through it now, I'm like, wow, I did that. I lived there, and it's I feel very proud that I took those chances. And really the first exchange abroad, it was a big deal for me, and I think it's a big deal for a lot of students that are thinking of going abroad or about to go abroad, because they're leaving their home, they're leaving the comfort of their families, they're leaving the comfort of their whole life, and they're going to another country and experiencing life in a very different way. And so that's it's brave. It's a very brave thing to do, and I think that I can only comment on my experience, but it's benefited me tremendously in my career.
And you obviously, did you know Chinese before you went to China?
I grew up with a little bit I went to Cantonese school.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know Mandarin, so I went to Cantonese school when I was younger. Vietnamese was spoken a little bit in the house, but it was never really great. I ended up actually staying in Vietnam for 9 years,
Wow.
and my Vietnamese was terrible at that time when I first arrived, and I came back fluent, and I was able to manage my team in Vietnamese. I was able to fully function as a local.
Right. So you've got lots of things that you are speaking to that are beneficial for study abroad. You've got language, you've got a depth of culture, obviously, that you you personally had from the length of your experience. And it sounds as though you have a really good message for the students as well, in terms of getting out there and talking to locals isn't about waiting for someone to come and talk to you. It's sometimes nonverbal in just smiling, not looking afraid, or it's, just asking someone a simple question. That will start the conversation. And most of the time, people are very, very willing to have conversations across cultures.
Oh, absolutely. I think in an environment like Victoria, for example, we have students, we have a lot of international students that come here. And, before when we had maps, like paper maps, and, a lot of locals would see our students out and they were maybe a little bit lost. They would jump in there and help. They're like, oh, can I help you? And that's the same thing that happens around campus as well. And so, a Canadian student will often help an international student because they know the challenges of navigating a new campus as well.
Right. Well, I'm sure our students will. Next week, we're doing which country should I study in, and I know that Canada has a lot of attributes that the students are going to be really interested in, and certainly I know that they'll come back having seen that gorgeous picture of the university and of the living environment. So, I really want to thank you for meeting us today and talking to us about your own personal experience and giving students some really good advice on some of the top reasons why you should study abroad. So thank you, Si Heng.
Thank you.